B, what up, B?
What's
Yo,
going on?
we live and direct.
Live and direct.
Live and direct. What's up, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Going
Brother,
crazy
hey,
today. It's a good crazy though. What do you got for us?
listen, man. We instead of us doing a short video, I'm like, look, B, let's get on here and let's talk about chop something up. And I wanted to chop up this thing I've been going through with calendars. So before we get into this and how calendars can make or break a schedule and really create a lot of kerfuffles. If this is the first time that you're watching us, thank you. We are Brian and Paul from the More Than Black or White Health Podcast. We're here for space so you can learn to be your own advocate for health and well-being.
And I just learned a new word, man. A kerfuffle. I like that.
Hold up. You never heard of kerfuffle?
Kerfuffle. Is that a real word or is it like a slang?
Yes, look it up. Don't make me go. It's just short show, so don't make me go.
My English is bad.
Yo,
and you're a words man, so you help me out a lot. I appreciate that.
It's a kerfuffle, man. It's a good thing rather than saying the shit show, right?
All right.
Kerfuffle. Makes people smile too.
Yeah.
So B, so I got to chop it up with you on this thing. So about 2 months ago, Brian and I, we scheduled our time so we do our podcast. And there was a woman that we scheduled, I think it was Dr. Lynn. We scheduled her originally for, I think it was like beginning of September. And I'm like, oh, junk. I recognize I double booked. Now, anytime I double book, like I always get this sense of like shame and guilt. And I feel like crap. I'm like, oh God. But I would never do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it would keep happening. And then I keep going through that whole consistent cycle. So one of the things, like when I went over that situation with my coach and he was like, yo, let me see your calendar. I was like,
oh, what?
Yeah. I was like, huh? I was like, hey, here's what I said. I said, which one? I got the phone one, right? I got this calendar up here above my desk. I got my computer in Google.
Mm-hmm. And you got the one in your head.
The most reliable one.
Most reliable one, yes.
So I'm like, yo, what? So he got me on the scheduling thing. And I wanted to talk about this because it really came through beyond the scheduling. It came through in a situation that we just had where we were all supposed to get together. And there was like miscommunication, a whole lot of lapses and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was a kerfuffle.
That was a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it because I think it's important, especially now, be like, you notice like everybody's got somewhere they have to go and everywhere they have to be. And especially, I don't know about you, but as I get older, I find it even more difficult to really connect consistently with people like I care about. So calendars are super important. It's really about mastering that sense of time. So like, let me ask you, do you have a calendar? Do you work with a calendar?
Yeah. I have to. I have one in my phone, and I stick to that one. And I actually have your calendar too, the More Than Black and White Gmail. So I use that for like the podcast. But I have my personal one. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, and the more you want to grow, the more appointments you need to take on, the more tasks you need to do. You need to organize your day because sometimes you have like 10 things that need to get done in like 3 months. So like, how do you organize it? So you have to have a calendar or you're falling behind. It's kind of like if you don't have a plan, what's the saying? If you don't have a plan, a plan as you or something like that.
Yeah, that was definitely not it. But it was
definitely not it. Another
now you got me thinking. I'm like, oh my God. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But listen, but you get it. This is serious, right? And for whatever you do, like listen, even if it's down to when you're gonna get your movement in. And I'm gonna be vulnerable here on this spot, and I'm gonna show my calendar here. So like free of judgment, I'm like, I'll breathe through it. But I think it's important for people to understand, like, listen, and whatever you're looking to do, carving out that time for yourself to do it is extremely important. And I'm working with someone right now, and we talked about this time commitment and it's about really creating boundaries. So this first one that we're gonna rock with here to really touch base on is taking time. Hold on, I'm going to create a banner. This is time blocking for success. Yes, time blocking for success. That's what we're doing right now. All right. So work with my guy Corbin. Bless up, Corbin, candid professional who you with. He had me on this thing. Now, mind you, this was after this situation that I experienced with you when I messed up. I had the kerfuffle with Dr. Lynn's appointment, right?
Mhm.
So here, let me share the screen. So here. All right. So now, this right here is your boy's calendar. All right. Now, one of the things here is I told him, I said, hey, listen, this is when I get my stuff done. This is when it happens, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, when I showed him my calendar originally, Pete, that was nowhere near. That was nowhere here. So he was like, first of all, we need to get you a consistent calendar. So I'm talking to my peoples out here. If you're going to time block for success, have a standard calendar that you consistently go by. Why is that, Paul? Well, because if you have a lot of different calendars, you may go by one and then you're missing an appointment that was originally scheduled in something else. So you can have the best intentions to get to be with people, but you end up butting heads and double booking yourself. Make sense? So listen, so here in this one, I guess I got to blow this up. Hold up. Yeah, I got to blow this up. So I had to put in time for like on that Sundays, those times, that's the time when I just like don't do anything and I'm sitting like, okay, what do I got for the week, right? Now, I even got some space here that I could fill in, but usually that's when I'm not doing anything. I'm usually thinking or like outside or doing some sort of task. Now, I also blocked in, I have a full-time job, so I blocked out that time for the full-time, even blocked out my work break just for consistency. Now, even in time, like I have to put in like my thought and my vision and thought discipline, journaling, exercise, movement. Now, here's the kicker, right? There may be some days when I don't do it. Okay, there may be some days when I don't do it. The thing is that I'll either say something or put something in that calendar or in that spot, or I'll just take it off. So at least I know when I did something and when I didn't. So when I'm like, now I also want to put a disclaimer here. This took me months to get down. All right. Months, man. So B, like I'm putting this out here because I think it's the time blocking of success, the time blocking for success. You need that time and it's important to put it out here. So you're like, oh shit, I'm overbooked. Or like, oh junk, I haven't done any of this for this. So it's a great way to see what's going on. B, what's your thoughts on that piece, man?
I think it's a great way to see, because most people are not going to get everything done. And I think it's a great way to kind of see the distractions that you have going on in your life. So you can look at the end of the week and being like, all right, I keep on missing this 7 to 8 time. What am I doing that time? And look at my phone. Are you just bullshitting around? What are you doing that you're not getting the task done? So it's a great way to limit distractions out of your life so you can reach your goals more efficiently and a lot quicker too.
Bless up, man. B, you hit it on something, right? You hit it right on the head, man. You get to look back at where did I actually spend my time?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Wait, what did I do in that time? Like, is there a space for me to do something different? Hey, maybe it's a space for me to rest. Maybe it's a space for me to plan, catch up on something. Like this is a way for you to see and for you to know what the heck is really going on, man.
It could be a chance for you to maybe pivot. So if you keep on missing the same thing, maybe you're not into that thing, and you can prioritize something else in it. So if you're constantly missing your, I don't know what it is, like, you're supposed to meal prep every night, and you're missing that, and you're just like, I don't have time to do that. Maybe you do that more in the morning, or you put it off to another day and you schedule something else in there. You don't want to have these tasks like, oh, I got to do this task. It's never going to get done. And if it gets done, it's going to get done in a shitty way that you shouldn't even have done it anyway. So,
brother, you hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head again, man. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to start calling you the hammer, man.
The hammer.
The hammer. Hammer. Man. But hold up. I just want to show one more thing here that I think is important, right? When we look at this calendar piece, creating that time to see what you want to do. So a couple things, like for example, if I don't put it in, it doesn't get done. So like for me, I have at least 2 heavy lifts in the week. I have to have my time, like after you and I get done, like, okay, cool, I'm going to chill. I have my time when I go do my heavy lifts. Usually I go in earlier so I can get a little sauna time. But
Mm-hmm.
this is my accountability. So when I first started putting this in, I was missing some weeks here, B. So then I was like, yo, what was I doing? Nothing. Yo, so get off your freaking ass. And I had
Yeah.
to figure out, like, yo, okay, well, damn, man, like, at least get there, move, get in the habit, get in the groove. Now, people, what you put in gets done, right? And again, it may take time to adjust. Speaking of adjustments, I also want to highlight, you notice here I have this time to work, travel to work. If you're going to use a calendar, I encourage you to create a buffer time. For me personally, I have a tendency to want to pack shit in. So when I pack stuff in, then all of a sudden, B, guess what happens? I'm behind, I'm late.
Yeah.
You remember I'd be late as a mug, right? You remember
You're
I'd be
always
late,
taking
right?
it. You're getting better though. You're getting
It's
better.
better. Before it was like days. Now it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I'm making progress.
Making progress.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what we do. But listen, I think that's the number one piece. Time blocking for success. Be anything else to talk about on that before we move on to the next piece?
No, I would just say, like, kind of going back what I was saying before. If you miss something in that time block, there's a note. You can put a note in there and be like, "What caused you to miss that?" And if it's become something that's regular, like, I don't know what it is, like wives bother me, girls bother me, bosses bother, whatever it is. At least like, again, your distractions, things that are hindering from you to get your results.
Yeah, B. That's why I like the
In there
Google.
before you forget.
Dude, this comes back. This Brian, when you're saying that, this comes back to something I don't know if we did a podcast on this, but the power of journaling, man. Because maybe it's because I'm quirky. I feel like I've been feeling like a progressive commercial lately, like I'm an old man. Like I'm like, well, I better take these notes because I just might forget. But I'm recognizing, like, documenting things,
Yeah.
so I can come back and be like, oh, junk. Okay, I remember that. And you mentioned something else that I think is important. You said, do it before you forget.
Yeah.
Do it before you forget, man. All right. So next one that we're gonna rock with is prioritization. B, I gotta ask you, man, how do you prioritize? What's the ways that you prioritize something?
I always make a list at the night before. So I have goals. I have macro goals, like 3-year goals. Then I break it down to a year. Then I break it down to a quarter. Then I break it down to a month, week to day. I'm like boom. I'm on point. So at night, before I go to bed, I write maybe 5 or 6 things to do, to get done early in the day, or to get done the next day. And I always prioritize the thing I do not want to do at all first. So whether it's I gotta have a call with somebody that's not going to be good, or I gotta write an email that's not going to be good, or I gotta do something I gotta read something I'm not really interested in, but I gotta do it for work. I just get it done first thing in the morning and just get it out of the way. And that way the rest of my day is like, all right, okay, I got the hardest thing done. And the rest of the day seems easy. And 9 out of 10 times when you start diving in to the thing you don't want to do, is like, yeah, it's not that bad actually.
Majority, I think majority of the time, B, I'm like that. I'm with you on that, man.
And I'm more creative in the morning. I'm definitely more like, you try to get me to do my tasks at night. Oh my God, I'm a complete shit show. But in the morning, I don't know what it is. I wake up 5:30 every morning on a consistent basis, and I'm ready to go, man. After about 10 minutes, get a cup of coffee in me. I'm like, boom. Right. I'm creative. I'm more lateral thinking. All the things that I thought were tough that night before when I was half asleep, writing out the list. I'm just more creative, and I can be more efficient with the things I don't want to deal with.
I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to do it now. Listen, that's I don't remember if it's that book, The Hard Way. I'm trying to remember what book I read where they mentioned, probably several, where they talk about get the hard stuff done first.
Yeah.
I like that method a lot. I'm a fan of, I find for myself, I have my have tos and my get tos.
Mm-hmm.
So the have tos are usually some stuff I don't want to do, but it's necessary for things to move forward. Right. So I'm dealing with some stuff like admin for schools, right? And I'm like, oh God, I don't feel like dealing with this crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me do this. Okay, all right. And there is something like you. I really appreciate what you just said. There is something. As soon as I'm done with it, though, I'm like, it's like a relaxed
Uh-huh.
and pride at the same time. Like, what else can I do? So
Feel
I
good,
start,
like you feel like you've grown because you like usually things that you don't want to do. It's like things that kind of make you nervous a little bit. So
yes,
handle it. You're like, it wasn't that bad after all. You know, it's
yes,
interesting. Like, I've read so many books, and I could be like combining a bunch of books. Have you ever read Steve McCovey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective
yeah,
People? So
yeah.
they have like I think it's in that book where they have like a clock and compass, and they have break it down to like quadrants where it's like urgent, get it done now, or not high priority or low priority, and it kind of breaks it down. So it talks about getting all the things that are urgent that you need to do right away, and
Yeah.
they can't wait, get those done first. But most of the time, everybody thinks everything is urgent. So if you don't know the difference, you're gonna drive yourself nuts.
Well, dude, it's oh man,
Well, we're in a society where everything is a big deal, and
that's
it's not really that big of a deal.
right.
People tell me their issues all the time, like, "Oh, I need to get that done. Oh, I had an emergency. Like this happened." I'm like, dude, like you couldn't solve the problem around that. Like,
Well, man, B, I guess man, what just came to mind is that like failing to prioritize is or like thinking everything is urgent is really looking short term.
yeah,
Because if I'm looking short term, then like everything is an emergency. But if I take the scope out, like before I was hearing, like you said a couple of times, like you have your yearly goals broken
hmm
down to quarter, then to month, then to week, then to this.
yeah,
So if I'm taking, so for when I'm hearing that in what you say, and like how I see it as far as prioritizing too, is like, all right, what's going on over the next 3 months? All right, what are the deadlines? What has to get done? So it's like almost like working myself backwards. Actually, not almost, it is to
yeah,
figure out like, oh, jump, like, oh, Stu, that deadline's in 2 weeks. I can get
hmm
that shit done today. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like, because I've fallen into that trap too, where it's like, oh, it's like I'm failing to look ahead. So by looking only at the week or the daily or the granular, like stuff sneaks up and pops me right side of the head, man.
hmm
It's not a good look, bro. Not a good
nope,
look. Especially I
nope.
already got like, I already got a bumpy noggin, bro. So
You look good, man.
I do. I got, you know what though? I realized I got stung by some bees over the summer. And those mugs left some mark, man. They have like I got a big old like planet on the back of my head over here. I'm like, damn, what the heck? But anyway, that's prioritization. So a couple things like so what I heard you say, B, is you have it based on the goal, right? Like where that goal is, and then like you get the hard stuff done first.
Yeah,
What I was saying is yeah, the hard stuff done first, and also keep it to like when I say the have to and get tos, I'll have 1 to 3 have tos. Now it's up to like 2 to 4, but like I started the 1 to 3 to really just get my groove. Like,
hmm
okay, yeah, let me try and get these 2 have tos. You know what I mean? And then like, okay, now it's like people. I think that we say mastery of time, it's to become a master. It's like wearing something down, like wearing something in.
hmm
Like, okay, I'm gonna do this and do this and do this, and then go from there and see how it rocks.
yeah. And the
All
more you
right.
do the tasks over and over, the more efficient you get too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
and this is and I this the next one that we got I think comes in very well with what we're just talking about. If I could type and talk at the same time, that would be even that'd be even more special. But here it is. Review and adjust the core and regularly. Did I say regularly right? I did. I did. Um I think this is important because going along the line with what you said, it's that regular adjustment keeps us on task, right? It keeps us on
hmm
like okay, oh, this is happening. Okay, I gotta adjust this. Or like
yeah.
even how when you and I, how we do the podcast, it's like when we have our monthly meetings, it's like, okay, what's happening over the next month? Where are we going? So now it's like we can plan accordingly for when Brian travels, or if I have something going on, we can work our schedules and it's aligned. So that's important, guys. That's important, party peoples. Important. Yeah, it says when I was taking to emphasize the importance of a weekly and daily calendar review. How often do you review your calendar?
Not too much because I've been doing it for so long. So like
Yeah.
one point I would make is adjust the calendar if the task that you're doing isn't meeting your end goals. You need to be crystal clear on what your goals are. A lot of people adjust their calendars too much because it's something they're scared to do or don't feel confident doing or don't like understand how to do it. So they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just going to skip that around." If that's the case, like you're adjusting it under the wrong premises. Adjust only if it's not reaching the ultimate goal that you have set out for yourself and say the 3-year plan or 1-year plan or whatever it is goal that you have for yourself. So don't adjust out of fear or of being lazy. Adjust out of not hitting the macro goal. The hammer is struck again.
The hammer. Hammer on the head, son. Hammer on the nail, bro. Listen, the podcast is over. It's a wrap.
But I do adjust macro goals. I don't adjust micro goals too much because that's like the foundation. It's like kind of like what Kobe always talks about. He just practices the basics all the time. You practice the basics all the time. I don't adjust too much of the micro tasks I do. The macro goals every once in a while. Like if I see say I have a goal of hitting, say $100,000 at the end of the year for my business, and I'm in quarter 2 and I already hit that. You know what? I'm going to push up. I'm like, I want to hit $300,000 for the year. I'll adjust it based on that, or I'll make the goals more realistic.
Yeah. Oh man. So once again, bam, bam, hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, listen, man. This is super important. I really appreciate what you said. I want to emphasize this again. Adjust the calendar to what's aligned, rather than like just adjusting it to avoid.
Yes,
that's important, man. Because again, your boy been through that too. Because like, you know what? I don't know if that's a good thing for me to do. Probably because I didn't want to do it. That's what it was. Like I was like, I didn't want to do that, John. And then like I can't run from it though. But I like the fact what you're saying. It's about really adjusting it to like what if you hit the goal, make the adjustment. Or if something's aligning and you're getting good results, where in your calendar can you maybe do more of it or leverage what's the results of what you're getting? I like what you're saying too, B, because even in this, when a person makes the adjustment, if you're using like a Google Calendar, you're making the documentation, you can track in the notes. So even coming back is super powerful. And listen, again, talking about from a productivity standpoint, why not, man? Why not?
Yeah. Listen, make sure those little tasks are getting to your goal. A lot of people, they don't work smart. Like they work hard, but they don't work smart. Like they just it's almost like they're just trying to keep busy, but they're not keeping busy in the right way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like they like say like somebody like, oh, I read 10 books on how to start a business. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I know, what are you doing with that education you learned? Nothing. I want to get done. I want to read my 12th book first before I do anything. So they're not applying any of the knowledge they're getting. They have all this knowledge, but they're not applying it. Like knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. That's getting pretty common now. So you want to make sure you're applying everything. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. You don't go anywhere just reading books.
Dude, you hit, man. El Mortillo.
I used to be somebody that just takes a shit ton of courses, reads a lot of books, and I'm like, why am I broke, man? I know more than like 99% of the trainers out there. Why don't I have any money? Like, because I'm not applying it, or I'm not learning how to market, or I'm not looking at different avenues on how to create wealth or create money. So,
bro, man, this. So first of all, we're gonna keep this short. So we're gonna start wrapping this one up, and we got two topics that we just found in here, bro. Like so maybe I don't know. We'll check in. I don't know how you all let us know how you like the lives. Put in the comment. Yo, we got B's dropping the Jemmy gems, man. Come on, bro. God damn, bro.
I like these because I didn't really like don't plan for it. We just kind of get on and wing it and just off the top of the dome and see what happens.
So B, check this out. So when you were just talking before, see what happens. See, that's why I dig you. When you were just talking before, two things came to mind that we could talk about in another live: working hard versus working smart, and applied knowledge.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So, dude, because we can. Anyway, listen, people. Thank you for being here with us. Listen, this is a treat. We love getting on, chopping it up, breaking down these topics. Because listen, we're talking about a calendar, but in the grand scheme of things, this is helping you plan and plot out your success, because it's going to require you to have different thought processes to be able to, like, okay, let me plot out my steps. When you start doing things like that towards your goal, you make it real and it is happening. Pay attention. Bless up to you. And listen, this is on 11/18 when we did this live. Like, share, subscribe. And our boy Neil Donald Walsh. Yo, I can say he's our boy, man. We had a good time with that podcast, bro. I had a good time. I'm doing the editing. Huh?
He's a character. He's a good sense of humor, man.
Yeah, dude. He was. Listen. I didn't expect that. I expected this guy to be like, "Mama say, Mama some," but he was chill, bro. He was chill. So, people, check it out. If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Put on that bell so as soon as the episode releases, you get a notification. You can check it out. You give us some feedback, like and share. It's a great conversation. Neil shared some things, like there's some music trivia. This dude's done just about everything.
Believe that.
Bro, right? Anyway, you all know what we're talking about when you watch the skit. So listen, bless up, everybody. Thank you. And we're so grateful for you. Listen, again, please like and share, subscribe, and tell your friends, man. We're here. All right. Peace out, everybody. We're out of here.